All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We're going to pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. For if another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Alahym only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. 2 Chronicles 30, in verse 5. So again, to reiterate, we're going through from what me and little brother talking about the Shalom brother Ernest the other day. And then, of course, and it sparked from the conversation that the people was having about the 2 Chronicles 30. We're going to address and exhaust. And we might have to sprinkle redemption in there. We did redemption probably about 6 to 8 months ago. Could have been longer, you know what I'm saying? We're in 2 Chronicles 30 and 5. Peace, brother Omar, man. Hey. Don't get her crunk up. Just let her sit there and be still. You don't do you gotta do all them extras. Because that's what's gonna make her make noise. Just let her sit down. If she don't conduct herself, come get in the door. Like I said, I was having a conversation with my dog. He was saying the grace in the New Testament is different from the Old, but they're effectively the same thing. We're going to exhaust every single solitary avenue where that is stated at. Peace, brother Robert, man. And we'll line up testimony while we're at it. I think we stopped in Job 33 and 24 last night. We'll pick back up right there, and then we'll keep it rolling. The 2 Chronicles 30 and 5, man.
So they established a decree to make proclamation throughout all Yasharal, from Beersheba even to Dan,
right,
that they should come to keep the Passover unto Yahuah Alahym Yasharal at Jerusalem. But they had not done it of a long time, in such sort as it was written.
Right.
So the post went with the letters from the king and his princes throughout all Yasharal and Yehudah, and according to the commandment of the king, saying,
what did he say?
The children of Yasharal, turn again unto Yahuah Alahym of Abraham, Isaac, and Yasharal, and he will return them to the remnant of you that are escaped out of the hand of the kings of Assyria.
Talk to him.
And be not you like your fathers and like your brethren, which trespass against Yahuah Alahym of their fathers, who therefore gave them up to desolation, as you see.
What are you reading at, what? That's 2 Chronicles 30, what?
Mm-hmm.
What verse you read at?
That was just verse 7.
Oh, go ahead.
It said, Now be you not stiff-necked as your fathers were, but yield yourselves unto Yahuah, and enter into a sanctuary, which ye have sanctified forever, and serve Yahuah your Alahym, that the fierceness of his wrath may turn away from you.
Right.
For if you turn again unto Yahuah, your brethren and your children shall find compassion before them that lead them captive.
So that they what?
Shall come again into this land. For Yahuah your Alahym is gracious
and
merciful,
and he will not
turn away his face from you if you return unto him.
Now, you can read in 2 Chronicles 7 and 13. Now, of course, we were reading that from the conversation that people perceived that Hezekiah told them, it don't matter if you're not clean for the Passover, eat it anyway. Versus the aspect that the people actually turned to this man with the whole heart. So therefore he could have. I just heard a dude just talking about this before I came here. They were talking about, can you keep the instructions in exile and all these other things, man. And people make this endeavor extremely more difficult than it needs to be. And again, it's because people tie everything in the animal sacrifices in the temple. My man ain't never cared about none of that. If you recall, did he ever ask anybody to build him a temple? No, he did not. We already read he ain't asked nobody for no animal sacrifices. So these are not the things that he's concerned with. He's concerned with Shalom, brother Marcus, man. He's concerned with the heart of man. But see, niggas not concerned with that. You concerned with playing dress up. Or as my homeboy like to say, you want to cosplay. Instead of, pause for a second. Give me Romans 8 and 30, man. Listen to what he said. Then we'll get to 2 Chronicles 7 and 13. This is what a lot of people's problem is, man. This is the epistle of the Romans, man. Chapter 8 and verse 30.
Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them
right.
he also called, and whom he called, them he also justified.
What else?
And whom he justified, them he also esteemed.
And what else?
What shall we then say to these things? If Alahym be for us, who can be against us?
Mm-hmm.
He that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things?
What else?
Who shall lay anything to the charge of Alahym's
What
elect?
I want, man. Give me 28. This is the epistle of the Romans 8 and 28.
And we know that all things work together for good to them that love Alahym, to them who are the called according to his purpose. Mm-hmm. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son.
To be what?
Conformed to the image of his son.
To be what?
Conformed to the image of his son.
Tell them what image means real fast in that Greek, man. We know what it means in Hebrew, but just tell them to see if it's the same thing.
That's a cone, an image, figure, or likeness.
Or the likeness. So what it would be to be in the likeness of the son. You think it's talking about a physical likeness? It's showing his character. And we establish his character, and you know we never need an excuse. So let's read Exodus 34 and 6, because we never need an excuse to read Exodus 34 and 6. Remember, I told you we were talking to some Christians one time, and they say, how would you preach the gospel? And I told them Exodus 34 and 6, and they ain't had no answer. And I wasn't even trying to stump them. I just wanted to give them an answer that they may have not been accustomed to. Because effectively preaching the gospel is Exodus 34 and 6. When he say he come in his Abba's name, this is what that mean, man. Come on with it, Sebo.
And Yahuah passed by before him and proclaimed.
What he proclaimed?
Yahuah Alahym.
What he is.
Merciful and gracious.
And what else?
Long-suffering and abundant in goodness and truth.
And what else?
Keeping mercy for thousands.
And what else?
Forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin. And that will by no means clear the guilty.
So you understand fundamentally that's who he is. And this is the part that everybody like to skip over. This man is merciful and gracious, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth, show mercy on the thousands, and forgives. This is fundamentally who. See, people skip over that because you think fundamentally he's his law. He's not his law. His law are his instructions. That's not who he is. And you know how every adult man and or woman should know that? Because the rules that you have in your house is not who you are. Those are the rules of your house. But who you are the intrinsic characteristics that you exhibit. You cannot exhibit characteristics from rules, because rules have no characteristics attached to them. They're a part of your character, but they're not your character. You know what I'm saying? And that's why people have a hard time when they see. That's why some people had a hard time with him forgiving David. That's why some people had a hard time with him forgiving a multitude of different people. But as he already told you in Exodus 33 and 19, he said, I'll be merciful to who I want to. And I'll be gracious to whom I want to. There doesn't have to be a rhyme, reason, or purpose. Now we know with David, we know what spared him. What spared him, Sid? He stumped. Jonathan, you know what spared David? I'm talking about, I got a book for this. Everybody in here should know it because we didn't talk about it too many times. No, not with David. Not with David. Oh, the children going outside. We were just waiting for more of them to get here. They're going to go in the garage. She's going to cut the speaker on, and they're going to stay out there. You said Matthew 5 and 8? Go ahead. Omar hit the nail on the head. What'd she say? That's fair. That's fair. Now, but we're referring to when he got caught down bad, and then he pronounced judgment on his own head that he should die, and he didn't die. There's an explicit and exact reason, according to the text, why he didn't die. That's fair, but you got to narrow it down. His heart is a part of why it's something that issued out of his heart is why he didn't die.
Did you say like mercy, trial, and judgment?
That is correct. That's exactly what we desire. Remember in Psalms 18, it says he will show himself merciful unto merciful. And then the epistle of James, he tell you that mercy rejoices against judgment. So when you go back and you look at David's example of his life, could have killed Saul, showed him mercy. Could have killed Nabal, showed him mercy. When the people stayed back with the stuff and ain't nobody want to break bread with him, he did. When the people were weary from going, he fed them. Now he did all these things not to try to get a get out of the grave free card, because as you mentioned, that was in his heart. It was emblematic of his character. That's who he was. So when it was time for him to get mercy, Yahuah could extend mercy because he always showed mercy. which is why the text tell you mercy rejoice against judgment. After he read Matthew 5 and 8, you can read Matthew 23 and 23 on general principle, and then Jeremiah 9 and 23 on general principle. Now, most of these things that we're going to be discussing in this particular foray, we've discussed over the years in a numerous amount of time. But just because of this previous conversation and the conversations that I hear, everybody skips over how merciful and gracious this man has always been. He didn't get like that when he sent the sun around the corner. He been like that. You know what I'm saying? But individuals don't look at it like that. And unfortunately, all individuals want to do is condemn or focus on procedural things that in reality, this man don't really care nothing about. That man ain't never cared about a bull and goat from nobody. He ain't never cared about an oxen or a sheep or a turtle dove from nobody. You know what I'm saying? The only thing he ever wanted and desired was your heart. That's it. Because when he gave you the greatest commandment, he said, what did he tell you needed to do? With all your what? With your heart, your inward man. That's what he desired. When we read Psalms 51, civic way, he said he desired truth at in your inward parts. When you read the new covenant, where he said he put his instructions at in your heart. So this is what he's desired the entire time. You know what I'm saying? But when we get in this day and time, they think he cared about, okay, nah, you ain't supposed to eat no swine, but that don't make you godly because you don't eat it. Okay, you don't eat swine, but you're malicious and you're spiteful and you're lustful, you're evil, you're disrespectful, you're rude, you're cantankerous, but don't eat no pork, though. You might as well. You might have well got the biggest pork chop with the largest piece of gravy you could have ever ate. But you think you justified in you. I'm just telling you, this is how a majority of individuals who in the word now, this is how they feel. Oh, I keep the Sabbath, but you ain't cease and desist from your own works. So you should have went out to the club. You should have went and did whatever it is that you're doing because you ain't got nothing. There's a reason why this man said, you're going to come up to me and say, I prophesied in your name and I did this and I did that. And he going to be like, nigga, I don't know you. Do you understand how devastating that is? Have you ever ran up on somebody you knew them knowing them like, I don't remember you. Now, this is a man who you've been talking about, claiming, and he tell you, boy, I don't know you, boy. Why you knocking on my door? I would say 97 to 98% of the people who in this word, Christian or Hebrew, he gonna tell them, boy, I don't know you, boy. And they would have been big serving out here. We can't go out like that. You know what I'm saying? We can't go out like that. Because that means you did this for nothing. Remember, he said, in vain do they worship me. From the doctrines and commandments of men. And people like to throw that on Christians. He wasn't talking to no Christians in that passage, man. He was talking to Bruce in that passage, man. I don't know you, man. Go that way. Or what? Oh, you gotta be deep off if you heard imaginary play. Say, man, I don't know you, man. Did you give me Rockefeller startup money or something? I don't know you, boy. You know what I'm talking about? But that's not serious, man. Hold on. Crystal put a verse in there. He say, and that is the fruits of the spirit within your character indeed. Shalom, Sister Regina. Matthew 5 and 8, real quick, man.
It said, Baruch are the pure in heart, for they shall see Alahym.
What I asked you to get beside that? I forgot. No. Oh, Psalm 18:25. I got that. Oh, and it was Matthew 23 and 23. No, he gonna read it. He gonna go to Psalms 18 and 25 right now. I'm trying to remember what I asked for because sometimes I forget. But I'm gonna read y'all this epistle of James 2 and 13. What I was referencing, he say, for he shall have judgment without mercy, that have showed no mercy, and mercy rejoice against judgment, which goes to this Psalms that he about to read. Psalms 18:25.
With the merciful, you will show yourself merciful. With an upright man, you will show yourself upright.
He showed himself merciful to David because David consistently showed himself merciful. Shalom, Brother Shaul, man. And people don't realize how serious that is, man. He meant Matthew 5 and 7. Go ahead, you can read that. He meant the verse before that.
Said, Baruch are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
Which is this reference in Psalms 18. Matthew 23 and 23. Well, we're going to read 2 Chronicles 7:13 in a minute. I done ventured off on another point.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise, and coming and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
Which are what?
Judgment, mercy, and faith.
My God, today.
These ought you to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
And you know what the crazy part is if you do the weightier matters of the law, there's no way that you would do wouldn't do the lighter matters. You know what I'm saying? But people don't like the weightier matters of the law because it's going to be reflective of your character. If you're talking about judgment, you're talking about mishpat. So that means you're going to have some ability to be able to determine what's right and what's wrong. Then, of course, if you're dealing with faith, you're dealing with a munah, a math, or a man. So that means you're dealing with steadfast and reliability and faithfulness. And then, of course, the last one you're dealing with chesed, which is mercy, which is loving kindness. Now, he tell you these are weightier matters of the law. Now, we can read Deuteronomy 32 when he tell you he a Alahym, a judgment and a truth, and there's no iniquity with him. We just heard it when he proclaimed his name in Exodus 34. These are the elements of his character. And don't know, unfortunately, I mentioned it last night. I'm going to mention it again. When you talk about this man being loving, first thing they want to do is, that's what the Christians say. That's when you know you're dealing with a goofy. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, meaning that tells me if you had a daddy, your daddy ain't love you correctly. You know what I'm saying? Because you're equating something weak with masculine love, and that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing weak about masculine love. The actuality and factuality of the matter is masculine love strengthens an individual in ways that can't even be comprehended. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the masculine love you get from your daddy. Listen, man, what I told you the other day. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? My nephew's older. I'm going to still give him a hug, man. Give him, just because they older don't mean them boys ain't supposed to get no love, man. And also that love is instruction and it's correction and it's sitting back listening to him and it's giving him some game and everything about it. It ain't just screaming on him. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with that? And people don't be realizing that. So when you come up and you talk about how Yahuah is a loving individual, because you equate that to Christianity and you what's happening? And you equate Christianity to weakness. You really blaspheming and you don't even know it. And you just told me you ain't had no daddy. You know what I'm saying? That's what you told me. You told me your daddy didn't love you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what men need to become men is they need masculine love. Masculine love runs a gamut of things. It's different than motherly love. You know what I'm saying? Motherly love is extreme, is different. Motherly love is needed, but that's not what a man needs. You know what I'm saying? He needs masculine love. That's why all these dudes only want to talk about his wrath because they overcompensate because ain't nobody hugged them since they was 8. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody shared no care and concern for them in decades. So these boys cold and callous, so they want somebody to feel their pain. We're going to leave that alone. Let me know when you're ready for them. Oh, children, orderly fashion. Don't jump up and rush up out of here. Walk towards the garage. She gonna cut the speaker on that way. Y'all got more room and y'all ain't got to talk, and y'all be good. Yeah, he can. I mean, he can stay. I mean, the older children like Christian, you and King, they can stay. You know what I'm saying? That's more so for the younger children. Because in general, on Saturdays, that's when they go get taught separate. But during the feast, it's gonna be late, so they can't get taught separate. So Saturday afternoon, they going back to their regular scheduled program of getting taught separate. Great day, Mama Steph. 2 Chronicles 7. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Jeremiah 9 and 23. 23. Jeremiah 9 and 23. 23. And this is, it's probably 24, but he can read 23. This is another passage that we don't need an excuse to read. For those, peace, East man. For those of you who don't know, it's about 4 or 5 spots that we don't need an excuse to read. For those who ain't aware, I'll tell you that I can remember. Exodus 34 is one, you just heard it. Yahuah Alahym, merciful, gracious, abundant in goodness and truth, long-suffering, showing mercy on 1,000, forgiving sin, iniquity, and transgression. Jeremiah 9 and about 24 is the next one. I ain't going to mention that because he's going to read it. The other one is Isaiah 26 and 3. He keep you in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. Trust in Yahuah forever. For trusting Yahuah is everlasting strength. And the other one is Job 19:25. I know my Redeemer live, and he shall stand upon the earth in the latter day. And though afterwards worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God. Those right there, we don't need no excuse. Specifically and explicitly, Job 19:25 and Isaiah 26:3. We don't need no excuse. You know what I'm talking about? Isaiah 26:3, practically behind John 5:39, is fundamental tenets of what we operate by. You know what I'm saying? That's why we lead with John 5:39 every 12 times a month. You know what I'm saying? But Isaiah 26:3 and Job 19:25, them fundamental foundational things that we stand on with that, man. You understand? Because believe you me, trusting Yahuah is everlasting strength. Don't let that nigga tell you different. You know what I'm saying? Anybody telling you different is a buster and a liar and come straight from the pits of hell. Straight like that. Jeremiah 9:20. You can read 24. I know it ain't 23.
But let him that esteem in this, that he understand and know me. That
Paul, listen to what he said. Don't esteem because you are Israelite. Don't esteem because you keep some commandments. He say esteem because you understand and do what?
And know me.
Now, you know is to know him by experience. So how would you know him by experience? Talk to him, Jeremiah. Tell him.
That I am Yahuah, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth.
Exercise what?
Loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth.
These things.
I delight, saith Yahuah.
These are things he take pleasure in. So he said, this is what I exercise. Kased, loving kindness, mishpat, judgment, and zadak, righteousness. And you know what that points you back to? The weightier matters of the law. And these are the things that he said he take pleasure in. Notice he said he ain't take pleasure in, or you don't eat no pork, or you keep Sabbath, because we read last night that people were keeping Sabbath. He said, I despise those. They were keeping feast days. He said, I hate those. I won't even accept them because your heart was sour. So you showing up around here don't mean nothing to him. I only mention that because I told y'all we saw that plenty of time before. Nigga act like because you keep the Sabbath, he gonna give you perfect attendance at the end of the year. You ain't finna get no certificate, boy. You know what I'm saying? You ain't finna get nothing for that. You know why? Because that's your reasonable service. You ain't even doing nothing by that. You can keep the Sabbath and a nigga was hungry and you ain't gonna feed him. We done talked about that plenty of time before. A nigga will be outside, see somebody hungry, and say, I can't go in that store and buy you nothing to eat, bro. It's the Sabbath day. We ought to take a rock and bust you upside your head with it. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be a special type of stupid to even think that in your brain. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to condemn him because he fed a hungry man. But he ain't break my Sabbath, though. Now, you see how that don't even make no common sense? Now, why would somebody want to serve your God after they tell you, man, I'm hungry, brother? Oh, I can't buy you nothing to eat, brother. It's the Sabbath. But let me tell you how Yahuah wants you to keep the Sabbath. That man not finna listen to you, cuz. And this is how I know that the majority of the people who teach the word don't go outside and touch grass or talk to real people, because there's no way you would go outside and do that. Yeah.
Is it kind of like the Samaritan when he stopped and helped the dude?
Absolutely.
But the priest
Kept on going.
The other side, even though they were like, well, he didn't want to be unclean because he would have been unclean, but he was like, so what?
So what?
I'd rather you be unclean.
I'd rather you see. Read this one. Just read me Hebrews 9, and it's not 9. My bad. It's Hebrews 10. Let me make sure, because I mentioned this last night too with this Hebrews 10 when we were talking about the uncleanliness of them eating that Passover. It's Hebrews 9. I was right the first time. You can pick it up at verse 6. This is the epistle to the Hebrews, chapter 9 and verse 6. Man. Come on, Sibo.
Said, now when these things were thus ordained, the priest went always into the first tabernacle, accomplishing the service of Alahym. But into the second went the high priest also once every year, not without blood.
Now, of course, he's specifically and explicitly referring to the Day of Atonement. Go ahead.
Said, which he offered for himself and for the heirs of the people. The Ruach HaKadosh, this signifying that
close the garage. Just open the door and send him to the garage.
The Ruach HaKadosh, this signifying that the way into the Kadash of all was not yet made manifest.
See, listen, everybody's so focused on that holy of holies in the temple that don't stand versus the one that's in heaven that your eyes can't see. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead.
While as the first tabernacle was yet standing, which was a figure for the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices, that cannot make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to the conscience, which stood only in meats and drinks and diverse washings and cardinal.
Hold on, and meats and drinks and what?
Diverse washings
imposed on them
until the time of Reformation.
Now give them imposed in Reformation. What's happening with you?
What's going on?
Imposed in the Greek means what?
Epikamahi, that is to lie upon or over, to rest upon, to be laid or placed upon.
So this was placed upon you, Reformation.
That is duorthosis, in the physical sense of making straight, restoring to its natural and normal condition, something which in some way protrudes or has got out of line, or of acts and institutions or reformation.
So this was opposed on you. Certain acts and institutions was opposed on you until it take you back to your original state. Now, what was your original state? Your original state was to be as Adam without the flesh, because Adam was a son of God. You think Adam needed washings? Remember, he said, I made man upright. Man sought out many inventions. You know what I'm talking about? Remember, Adam didn't know no sin. They wouldn't have ate from that tree, wouldn't have knew no sin. So there would have been no need for no cleaning. So an individual think, oh, I'm unclean. No, you unclean in your heart. You worry about your flesh being unclean. You could just take a bath. What you gonna do with that dirty heart you got though? And that goes back to his statement when he says it's not what goes into a man that defile him, but what come out. And everybody in their mammy will sit there and argue about eating food. I don't even participate in that type of conversation. Because if you read that and your mind went to food, I know the Spirit of God ain't with you. It ain't even worth me conversing with you. Because you worry about the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Because this man talking about what you got. Remember, we talked about this here. There's no flaw or action that the heart does not reveal in your actions. And that's why he told you that. Read it for him, Sid. Mark 7:17. See, people get the game twisted up. So a Christian say, this means you can eat whatever you want. That tell me you ain't got good reading comprehension. Now, why am I going to sit here and talk to somebody that clearly failed reading class? Just so you can prove to them, you know you can't eat pork? Man, you know why everybody only talk about eating pork and the Sabbath? Because that's the easiest thing to do. But when you deal with all that lust you got in your heart, whatever it is you lusting after, you don't want to talk about that because you ain't did nothing with that. You ain't mortified that member. You ain't crucified that, man. So you want to talk about that. That's why everybody want to talk about, can you keep the feast? I don't want to talk about that. Talk about the fact that every Tuesday you go in there and you get that lotion and everybody asks you because you in there going blind. Let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about the fact that you disrespect your mama and your daddy on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about the fact that you're cantankerous and just disrespectful to your old lady. Let's just talk about how you're just an overall nasty nigga and you don't believe the word. You know what I'm saying? But you don't eat no pork though. And you know the crazy part is, because I tell Buddha, you think the Lord was walking around talking to them about not eating pork, and people already knew that. They ain't nothing he needed to talk to them about. He didn't need to talk to them about not keeping the Sabbath. They already knew that. They act like they said, why he didn't talk about being homosexual? Why would he? They knew not to be a punk. That ain't stop them though. Everybody just act like all them Israelites was living godly, man. They knew not to be a punk. They were still punking. They knew not to commit adultery. They were still doing it. They knew not to lie. And they were still doing it. You know what I'm saying? Just because the instructions was on the paper didn't stop them from doing it. But because you don't get a blow-by-blow, play-by-play call or what they were doing, you want to act like they wasn't doing it. Yeah, they were doing it. Obviously, you know that because the Benjamites came around there looking for booty. He took the wrong rib out and put it back. Take one out that listens. Listen, people listen to their own desires. And that's why he said man sought out many inventions. He said, I made you straight. But you sought out your own desires. And that's the part that nobody want to deal with when there's consequences and repercussions for the choices that you make. Now you want to cry like Esau and say, forgive me, I repent. Ain't no forgiveness, nigga, because you knew what you was doing. You knew what you were doing. You knew what was wrong. You right now, you just copping the plea. Everybody in here got turned for the most part. You know when they copping the plea when they dead wrong, them tears fake as hell. You think I told you? Henry told me. He said, "Oh, you got a daughter? She gonna have you wrapped around your finger." I said, "Well, you lying to me. I don't care nothing about them tears, no cry face, no none of that, because she can't grow up thinking that I can use emotions to manipulate people to get out the consequences of my actions. You know what I'm saying? And just because you do that, and this is how, and then this ends up being the adult women that you goofies complain about. That doesn't mean you're not tender and loving to your daughter, but you're not finna manipulate me emotionally to get what you want, and I'm gonna go for it because that's my baby girl. Absolutely not. That's not even a character trait that I want her to possess. No. Because if she do it with me, she's gonna feel like she can go out the door and do it. And then see, this is what's gonna happen. Men out the door ain't gonna care because they ain't your daddy. Your daddy got to put up with that to an extent because you mine, I'm responsible for you. That man outside ain't got to put up with that. Why would he want to marry that and hitch his wagon to that? Then you come back there and see these men ain't like my daddy. Of course they not. This man has to volunteer to be responsible for you. Your daddy volunteered when he went in the room with your mom. That's when he volunteered. And people don't be realizing that the responsibility your parents have versus your spouse voluntarily and willfully saying, I want to do this. And you have to have a certain character for somebody to want to do that. And we don't want to develop that type of character and then blame people when they don't want to do it. Sound like what we've been doing with God the whole time. My God, today. Come on, Sibo. Mark 7:17.
And when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. And he said unto them, Are you so without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatsoever thing from without enter into the man, it cannot defile him? It can't defile him. Because it enter not into his heart, but into the belly. It enters not into his what? Into his heart.
But it is what?
Into the
Remember,
belly.
leb is the seat of your emotions and your desires. So that's why he said, out of the heart, abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. And he said, it's not what go in, but what come out of the seat of your emotions, the seat of your desires. The things that you desire is going to come out in your behavior. That's why when people say you don't know nobody's heart, I know you're dealing with an immature, inexperienced individual in life. Because you can know everybody's heart if you're paying attention. I'm talking about everybody. There's no man on earth's heart you cannot know unless he has been trained in the art of deception. And that's not the majority of the human population. Because if you don't work for Mossad, the CIA, and MI6, you don't know how to deceive that well. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. I just told somebody, I told her, Sister Hurricane that this morning, man. We always be screaming, people be lying and manipulating us. No, you be lying and manipulating yourself. You want to believe a lie. You know what I'm talking about? That's what happened with Eve in the garden. You want to believe that lie. You knew what the truth was, but your desire was greater than your desire for the truth, so you lied to yourself. Then you want to point the finger at the person who lied to you. It was your lust that lied to you, which is literally what Paul said in Romans 7. It's lust, it deceived me. And then when it deceived me, it slew me. You know what I'm saying? Satan is not that good at lying, man. I've been telling y'all that for years. He ain't that good. What he does is he uses your weaknesses against you. And because you have a desire for whatever it is that you weak against, you lie to yourself to justify in your mind why you can do this. And then you already know what that whole nigga gonna do. I ain't tell you to do that. I just put it out there. So when you understand the framework of how he moved, you won't get caught off guard, man. See, for me, just being outside of them streets, man, I seen people do people like that. Like, I ain't tell you to do that. But you know that you was tempting and trying to persuade this individual to go in this direction and then claim culpable deniability when they did it. Because effectively, you ain't make them do it. They did it on their own. But you knew what they was weak for and you knew how you could move them to get them to do that. You feel me? That junk ain't cool, blood. You say people just really have to look at... Satan is a con man. He's a grifter. To the fullest extent, he's a grifter. And I told you this before. Grifters use your lust against you. Like I told you about that law in 48 Laws of Power when he said to play a sucker, to catch a sucker, seem dumber than your mark. And I can't remember the gentleman they used, but it was a dude who used the greed of people wanting gold and diamonds against them during the California gold rush. He had no gold. He had fake gold. But he sold them all these plots because he knew these people were greedy and he used it against them.
And I think he wrote on a piece of paper, like a false buy or something like that.
Yeah, ran a whole play. Listen, because I told you, go ahead.
Do you think though, even, and I agree with everything you're saying right now as far as knowing a person's heart, but do you think it might be a little bit more difficult for people that are in the truth? And I only say that because even Solomon had to pray for wisdom in order to judge us.
That's fair.
Ancestors.
That's fair. Now, this way it get difficult at least in this modern time, from conversations and things I've observed. We want to believe just because somebody claimed that they in this, that they bought this. So then you see what you want to see versus seeing that this person ain't really bought that. You know what I'm saying? Which is effectively still, we lying to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because I always tell them this here. I give you year 1. I give you year 2. You've been in this 5 years and you still ain't got it right. You don't want to do this and you plan. Because how long does it take to master something that you voluntarily said that you want to do, and in everybody's face telling them to do it, knowing full well you ain't doing none of it? And you know what he told you, what Paul told him, he said, you inexcusable. You don't have no excuse for that. You know what I'm saying? Now what you were referring to Solomon is, that's wisdom and judgment when people come bring you matters. But when we sit back looking at people's behavior, we can know their heart. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you like Juby said at the end of this song, man, I can't tell you the title because it's a curse word. He said, man, game can be overcome if you silence your tongue. If you shut your mouth, open your ears, and open your eyes, game can be overcome with these people out here running. But when you steady talking and you not listening, you not paying attention, all type of game can get ran on. That's all you got to do. Just be quiet and watch. You know what I'm saying? And when you see, then you adjust accordingly. You ain't got to scream, they this or they that. You seen it, be quiet, you move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that from being in the street. You ain't got to scream out everything. You ain't got to scream out everything. I see you, sour. And all y'all should know that because we talk about Romans 16 and 17 when he said Markham. And Markham means to make a mental note. Okay, I see he a freak nasty nigga. I know how to deal with him. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I see she's rude and she after some money. I know how to deal with her. See, we feel like we got to scream, he's evil. You ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to do all that. Because see, now you know what you did? You just showed your hand. Now they're going to adjust their hand. Sometimes you ain't got to show your cards. Let them keep on and let them play themselves. See, that's the most masterful thing to do is just be quiet and let a nigga play themselves. Yeah. So a wise man counted for a fool when he quiet. You know what I'm saying? And a fool is known because he keep talking. He say a fool is known from the multitude of his words. That's why you silence your tongue, game be overcome. If you just be quiet. Because the abundance of the heart, the mouth, let me tell you something, man. I almost said something. A whole nigga is going to tell on himself. He can't help but do it because it's in him. Now, y'all might have not heard it because he played the record when we was in the spot. Now, I said this, man, Yahuah ain't no hoe. And when I say hoe, I'm talking about a less than masculine man. I'm talking about a man who is not operating at peak masculine characteristics, principles, values, and honor. Ain't no hoe in it. In no shape, form, or fashion. So if a man say he represent him and he do hoe stuff, you know God ain't with him. Because at that point, you got him looking bad. Because if you a hoe, then you saying that he won. That ain't how that works. That man say just and perfect is he, and there's no iniquity in him. Iniquity means ain't no perversity in him, ain't no depravity in him, ain't nothing crooked in him, ain't nothing sour in him, ain't none of that present. So if a dude screaming he represent him and he moving like that, you already know, okay, God ain't with him. And you just let that be. Remember, we mention it all the time. We're going to keep it pushing, right? When Hananiah told that false prophecy, Stanley, what Jeremiah did? He said, amen, let Yahuah bring it to pass, and walked off. He only came back when Yahuah told him, man, go back there and check this whole thing. But see, in this day and time, we feel like we got to check everybody. Instead of acknowledging, I know that ain't what Yahuah said, I'm going to keep it pushing. If he put the hook in my jaw to turn me around to say something, then I will. But if not, I'm going to keep it pushing. You know why? Because all them people, when Hananiah said that's supposed to already know what the word was, because Jeremiah told them, well, y'all going to be here for 70. He around here talking about you gonna be here for 2. That's why that's why he tell you, man, don't let no man deceive you, because you already supposed to know the word. I'm not finna keep around here telling you this, that, there, and the third, and say he's a false prophet, and stop this doctrine, and stop that. You supposed to already knew. I told my homegirl that this morning. And Deuteronomy 13. Go ahead.
When I first was coming to the full understanding and knowledge of what the Ruach, what the discernment was teaching me, I was able to hear the truth and then go back in that same circle where I had been lied to. And even though I saw it, that wasn't meant for me to say something. He just wanted me to know that I know the truth.
That you keep the play.
But to argue back and forth, that
you don't get you nowhere.
It's just for you. The discernment is there for you to know. You may not have to speak it to that person. No. That's a lie. You not telling the truth. That's not what the words say. Long as I know within me, and I'm able to move accordingly. That's the gift.
That's it. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's all you can do, because all that just is gonna cause strife.
Yeah.
And then what's the purpose of that? They ain't gonna hear what you got to say.
And my fruit with my family is the love.
Yeah.
The operating through the spirit. A lot of what I understand about people that study the word all the time, they know the word, but they not walking in the fruit. They not showing the love and the compassion.
Because they don't believe it.
Because they don't really believe it.
They don't believe
it. They don't apply it to themselves.
I'm gonna tell you, like my man Yoshi said, they want to believe that they believe.
Yeah.
They want to believe.
I learned a lot when I first was saying, I was used to argue. My family now, no, that's not it. And then the Spirit said, shh.
Yeah, you gotta let them have it.
Just as long as you know.
Yeah, you gotta let them have it.
Yeah, as long as you know.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference, you know. Let's put it to you this way, right? Now, of course, in your instance, what you described different because the Spirit instructed you, hold your peace. Right. It's not wrong if you're having a conversation and you know you can have a civil conversation where perspectives can be exchanged, and if you don't agree, you don't agree. But if you know that it's going to be contentious, it's not worth the conversation. It's better to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? And just let that be. But that's not how most of us are socialized and conditioned in these days and times. But nevertheless, come on, Sibbo. Mark 7 and what?
18.
7 and 18. After that, 2 Chronicles 7
or
and
19.
19.
Yep. Said because it entered not into his heart, but into the belly.
Into the belly.
And go out into the drought.
Say you do that out.
And he said that which come out of the man, that defiled the man.
He said, what come out of him that make him unclean, Sibbo?
From within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts.
Pause. Evil thoughts. What is thoughts? That's plots, plans, and inventions. So evil plots, plans, and inventions that defile you. Remember, he say one of the things that he hate, that he find an abomination, a heart that devises wicked imaginations. So evil thoughts is an abomination. You know what I'm talking about? So you unclean, but you don't eat no pork though. What's the next one though?
Adultery.
So you around here now we talk about adultery. So because everybody like to see, he say if you look on a woman with lust in your heart, listen, man, you can't commit adultery with a woman who ain't got no husband. Because when you read that in the Greek, it's telling you that's referring to a woman who is forbidden because she has a husband. And you already know where that's coming from, because that's what David did with Bathsheba, because he knew that woman had a husband. And it's actually pointing you back to your law, because he tells you should not covet what? Your neighbor's wife. But see, individuals want to keep thinking this man came up with something new when he's reiterating to you, boy, you already committing adultery, boy, because you're lusting after your neighbor's wife. I told you on Mount Sinai for your goofy behind not to do that. But now you got David as an example. But you can't lust after an unmarried woman, because if that's the case, then Jacob sinned when he seen doggone Rachel and he desired her. Remember, it's 3 different Hebrew words for desire. Desire in and of itself is not wrong. It's what you're desiring. It's what's going to turn and make it wrong. Oh, he in Mark 7. But the mass majority of people desire the wrong things. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what got Eve in trouble, which is in reality she's representative of Yasharal in the testimony, because that's what got them in trouble. Because you saw what the nations had and you desired that. Come on. What's the next one?
Fornication.
We all know that's any type of sexual degeneracy. Go ahead.
Murders.
And you know, if you hate your brother in your heart without cause, you're the same as a murderer. And the next one,
thefts,
you like to steal.
covetousness.
Oh, you lusting after stuff don't belong to you.
Wickedness.
Oh, you just unpleasant and disagreeable.
Deceit.
And you lie.
Lasciviousness.
And then you're lustful again. You's a pervert.
An evil eye. Blasphemy, pride, and foolishness.
He say all these things
come from within and defile the man.
Mass majority of people in the word defile, man. You know what I'm saying? But I don't eat no pork though. I don't eat no pork though. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up and down, man. Or you want to argue with a Christian all day. What you arguing with them people for? You know what I'm saying? I ain't never understand that one. And I always tell you that. I never understood why Bruce sitting around arguing with Christians all day. Man, get your goofy behind out of here, man. You not finna win nobody from up out of there with what you doing. Because all you got to do is, I've always told you, man, if you want to win somebody over, just live it. Just live it. And if they get one over, they get one over. And if they don't, they don't. You know what I'm saying? But you got a better chance of them being intrigued to see what you're talking about because you exemplify the characteristics and the standard that you propagating than arguing with them all day. Ask yourself this question, even without the word. How many people have you won over arguing with? Not now. It's very rare. It's very, very rare that you know why? Because human beings are resistant to change, for one. And for two, when you're attacking things that people hold dearly, whatever they are, the automatic human response is fight or flight. They're going to get defensive. So if you don't have, this is why he told you to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. You got to have finesse and skill. But see, when they read that 1 Corinthians 9, when he say he make himself all things to all people, these goofy niggas think he talking about compromising. And you know why? Because they compromise. Because they don't even have the people skills, the soft skills, the interpersonal skills to know how to mend and mold themselves to the perspective and mindset of the person they talking to, because their objective is to do what, Civic? Win a soul. And what does Proverbs 11 tell you? Read it for them off the paper, Civic. Then we go to 2 Chronicles 7 and 13 and Job 33 and 24. What it is, Proverbs 11 and 30 or 31?
31.
Proverbs 11 and 31. Listen to what he says.
Verse 30, my bad.
Verse 30.
The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life.
The fruit of what?
Of the righteous is a tree of life.
Now, we were talking about fruit a little bit, right? You know what that means when he telling you right there? When he say the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life? Absolutely. Because when you look at the fruits of the spirit, right? The love, the joy, the peace, the long suffering, the gentleness, the goodness, the meekness, the self-control. That is as the tree of life. Why? Because he said, lest they eat from this tree and they what? Live forever. You know what I'm saying? So that means, and he said with those fruits of the spirit, against such there's what? Is no law. So therefore, if there is no law, there is no transgression. And where there's no transgression, there is no sin. And where there's no sin, there's no death. See, people read that, they don't know what that means. When they say, well, where there's no law, there's no transgression, because they simpletons. Because that goes back to the garden. There was no law there, so there was no transgression, because he wasn't supposed to have it. Why? Because the law is not for a righteous man, it's for sinners. This is why he said, I didn't come to heal those who are whole, but the sick. What I need to come heal somebody who already whole. They don't need what I'm selling. Because they already where they need to be. But see, when we're socialized to we the Israelites and it's the law, we're going to miss that every time. We're going to miss that every time. But the reality, you ain't understanding where the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life. When you produce those fruits of the spirit, you will live forever. This is unequivocal. There's no doubt about it. There ain't nothing to philosophize on. Ain't no stretching and all the other goofy stuff niggas like to say. Well, you're going to live forever. Who going to condemn you for that? Can you really be condemned for being too joyful? Can you be condemned for having too much peace? Who going to condemn you for having self-control? Who going to condemn you for having loving kindness and long suffering and being gentle and being good and having faith? And none you can be condemned. I can condemn you for being a fornicator. I can condemn you for being lascivious. I can condemn you for being cantankerous and contentious and all those works of the flesh that he lied out. I can condemn you for that. And if you condemn, you got to die. But don't nobody want to hear that. Because see, we be spinning our wheels. And this is how we end up in the word 5, 10, 15 years and don't grow and stay the same. You know what I'm saying? Because if the seed is the word of Alahym, as it stated in Luke, and then the ruach is what water that seed, how are you going to be a plant that bear fruit and don't grow? That means you either got put in unfertile ground, or the nigga who's the vine dresser, he don't know what the hell he doing. He don't know what the hell he doing. And that's only for shoot. Got to pay attention to that. Go ahead and run it again. Proverbs 11:30.
The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life,
And he
that when souls
is what?
wise.
So that's the only thing that we should be seeking to do is to win souls. I ain't here to win no argument. You know what I'm saying? I ain't here to win no argument. That's why I don't participate. And we even do that because that don't serve no purpose. 2 Chronicles 7:13.
If I shut up Shamaim that there be no rain, or if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves
And do what?
and pray and seek my face
And what else?
and turn from their wicked ways,
And what else?
then will I hear from Shamaim and will forgive their sin and will heal their land.
That's the objective. Notice he said you got to do what? You got to mend your ways and you got to turn. Just on general principle, man. The book of Joel, chapter 2. Tell me what verse 7 say. We'll get to Joel 33 in a second. This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 7.
They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall
That's
like
a little
men
bit too much stuff. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. Go ahead.
of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks.
That's right.
Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path.
That's right.
And when they fall upon a sword, they shall not be wounded.
That's right.
They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They
What
shall
else?
climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief.
Mm-hmm.
The earth shall quake before them. Shamaim shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And Yahuah shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great.
Of course, it's talking about the coming of the Lord, but he getting to what I want to say.
For he is strong that execute his word, for the day of Yahuah is great and very terrible, and
Mm-hmm.
who can abide it?
Yeah.
Therefore also now saith Yahuah,
What he say?
turn you even to me with all your heart.
Turn to me with all your what?
With all your heart.
And what he wants you to do?
And with fasting and with weeping and with mourning.
Notice if you come with fasting, that means you're afflicting yourself. Now notice, and of course y'all know this because it's another thing like to get argued when the Day of Atonement roll around. People want to argue about whether you should fast or not. Like, what's wrong with you, cuz? The reason why this is because everybody want to be in everybody's face arguing. Now I told y'all this before. I mentioned it again, right? When me and Fat Boy, one nigga was like telling this Christian lady, "I ain't perfect." That lady looked at him and said, "Oh, so you don't keep the law then?" Then he went to dying laughing. I just got up and walked out. Because the reason being, because when Fat Boy go to laughing like that, you gonna laugh too. You know what I'm saying? Because he had what we like to term uncontrollable. Because he wasn't trying to laugh, but he kept talking to this lady about not eating pork, woo, 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 and then in the same breath said, "Oh, but I'm not perfect." And when this woman heard this, her immediate response is, "Oh, so you don't keep the law either." Now, it was only lost on this gentleman the magnitude of what this woman said in return to his words. It wasn't lost on us. That's why he laughed. Now, see, I'm mentioning this here because we'll say that. Why are you not perfect, sir? And you know why you believe you can't be perfect? Because a wicked nigga working for the devil told you you couldn't. But when you opened up this book, guess what it say? Be ye perfect like your Father in heaven is perfect. Be perfect with Yahuah, your Alahym. He said, Abraham, I'm your shield and your great reward. Stand before me and be perfect. But of course, all of y'all in here know what perfect mean in Hebrew. It said Jacob was perfect. When it say Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, that word is tom, and that's the word for perfect. And what does that mean? He's complete, he's whole, he's innocent, he has integrity. You know what I'm saying? This is a full-grown man. But notice the key point we always reference, he has integrity. Let's see what integrity means in English, man. And of course, y'all already know, if you didn't know, if ain't nobody told you, integrity is the hallmark of manhood. Without it, you can't claim to be one. You can claim it, but you be lying. That's the quality of being honest, ethical, and consistent in actions, upholding strong principles, even when unobserved. That's what it means to be perfect. You're going to stand on the word, whether somebody looking or not. But you also know what the book say, ain't nowhere for the workers of iniquity to hide. And then he say his eyes go to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is perfect towards him. Now notice it said to show himself perfect, whose heart is perfect towards him. Now I'm only referencing this because we talking about his grace and mercy, and these tenets are not told us that you're made to believe that they're unattainable. Because that's what this gentleman was talking about. We can't keep the laws in captivity anyway because we don't have a temple. The fact that you think your service to your God is tied to a physical structure show me that you don't know him. Now, that's not to ridicule the gentleman. It's to show the sad state of affairs that we presently in with the people who are dispensing the word one to another. How we ever going to achieve to the status that he wants us to get to if you don't even believe that you can make it? Now, let me ask you this question, right? Hey, how you doing? If this man told you you could be perfect, but yet you can never become perfect, wouldn't that be a dastardly and diabolical scheme to run on somebody to condemn you for a state that I knew you couldn't make, but I told you to make it? Why would this man tell you to be perfect if you couldn't be that? Why would he tell you that? And in the same breath, you'll tell people to keep a law, and then in the same breath, tell them, yeah, but I ain't perfect, though. You just told me you don't do it. You don't even realize you just canceled out any level of authority, reputability, anything. I'm not going to listen to you now. Because you ain't even about what you talking about. You ain't who you say you are. So if you ain't perfect, what you out here doing? Listen, man, two crackheads can't get each other all crack. Somebody got to stop smoking. Somebody got to stop smoking. See, two potheads can't get each other all weed. Two whores can't get each other to stop whoring. Two drunks can't get each other to stop drinking. Somebody has to make the decision to be the example to stop, to show them what it looks like when you stop. See, if you sit back and say, yeah, I don't drink no more, but I still smoke cigarettes, I ain't finna listen to you. You're not authentic. But this is the sad part. We have been mentally and socially trained to believe that there's authenticity by saying that you flaw. Yeah, I know I teach the word. I ain't perfect, though. I still be sinning sometimes. And you've been trained to see that's a godly man. See, he got faults. No, nigga. That man said if you teach this word, what you got to be, Sylvia? Blameless. That's what it say. That's not my personal opinion. Listen. You ain't hip him to us. He don't know. He don't know. I'm gonna show you. Listen, if you hear what that man say, you got to be a pastor, man, or a teacher of the word, period, you will see that the mass majority of people who teach the word don't qualify for the job. They can't even hold it. According to what the book say, not my personal opinion. This is not my personal opinion. This is what the text say. This is 1 Timothy 3:1. Listen what it say.
This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desire a good
Listen,
work.
if somebody desires to be a pastor or overseer of a congregation, ain't nothing wrong with that. Because people will tell you it's something wrong with that if you want to do that. There's nothing wrong with that if you want to do that out of a pure heart in service to your God and service to his people. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But most of these niggas ain't trying to do that. They want attention, money, and yams. That's what they after. And I said, listen, man. Nigga who use the word to get some coochie is a different type of dude. That nigga lame. You couldn't get coochie on your own face. You had to use God for it. That's crazy. You know what them boys used to do, Stanley? Scriptures after dark. Scriptures after dark. Let's get it. Embrace me. You know what I'm saying? Man, say your breath smell like apples. You know what I'm saying? Breasts look like a golden cluster. Watch them. Niggas freaks. Listen, I'm gonna tell you how freaky some of these dudes is. These people thinking this man talking about caniculus and fellatio in Songs of Solomon. They really think Yahuah put a word in this man's mouth to talk about oral sex. That's a pervert. This what you got out of that? You read that and thought, well, he talking about getting some dome. You was a pervert. Your mind is defiled. Like, I don't even know how that I ain't never made that correlation with Songs of Solomon. They ain't never entered into my mind. Like, boy, you's a freak. You think because he had all them women that he was a freak because you a freak. I'm telling you, people will project their perversities and depravities on men who are more righteous than them. Because that's what you want to get at it, because you want to open that up and read it to a woman to justify why you want her to eat your booty. Instead of just asking for that. Why you had to use God for that? I ain't trying to be funny. I'm dead serious because there's nasty niggas out here like this. Y'all just don't know because y'all ain't. It's some nasty niggas out here, bro. I'm trying to tell you. I've been in this for a long time, boy. There's some nasty dudes out here, man. You got grown men who teach the word, boy. They put their wee-wee in women inbox unsolicited. Man, we were ranking on a dude we know the other day, man. That boy sent 20 unsolicited dictures. 20.
No, you said ditch.
That's what we called him that day. I didn't come up with that, by the way. The dog came up with that. Oh, we ranked on him for 3 days straight. Oh, yeah, we did. He was mad, too. You know what I'm saying? But she liked him, though. But you a nasty nigga, though. Unsolicited? Well, you can't send that many pictures of your body without somebody asking. That ain't even your old lady, cuz. Come on, man. We move on, man. Turn it. 1 Timothy 3:1. Run it, man.
This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desire a good work. A bishop then must be blameless.
Pause. Tell him what blameless means.
And a proleptos that is not apprehended, that cannot be laid hold of, that cannot be reprehended, not open to censure, irreproachable, blameless, inculpable, unrebukable.
Because he said, spiritual man judgeth all things and is judged by no man. Because you ain't doing nothing for nobody to say you wrong. Go ahead. What's the next one?
The husband of one wife.
Oh, that's what they don't want to hear. And you know why they don't want to hear that? Now, we don't have the time to do this either. The things that he laying out for the bishop is really the standard that Yahuah has as the chief shepherd. See, he had 2 wives, but he said, hey, I'll take the stick of Ephraim and the stick of Judah, and I'll make them one. That's why he said there's another tribe he said that I got to bring in, so it'd be one shepherd and one tribe. He got 1 wife. So this is why the shepherd or the pastor has to have 1 wife, because you're following the pattern of the chief shepherd. See, people think Paul made this up. He didn't make this up. He's deriving this from Yahuah and his testimony, but people don't know that because they don't know the book well enough, so they think this man's speaking his opinion. Because Yahuah was blameless, and he had 1 wife, Yasharal. That's it. So, hey, I'm not here to argue with you if you want 4 or 5 wives. I really personally don't care. Take that up with the Lord when you see him.
How can he fulfill saying he was second Adam?
Yeah, because Adam only had 1 wife. And guess what? Abraham only had 1 wife. And guess what? Isaac only had 1 wife. And if he's the seed of the promise and he the second Adam, he got to fit that pattern. He got to fit that pattern. And it just is what it is. Dudes don't agree with it. I don't care, because I personally don't care what anybody does with their genitals. But if you talking about what we stand for and promote, we don't promote that. We'll tell you why. I personally don't care if you agree with it. Do what you see. Me personally, if you have to overly convince people that you can have more than 1 wife, you either not that nigga or you don't believe you can. Because a nigga who can have 2, 3 women, he ain't got to have that conversation. He ain't got to come through and be like, oh, you a wicked woman because you won't be my second wife. Man, she already knowing, shoot, I'm with it. When you that dude, you ain't got to come on, man. I've seen grown men try to shame women into doing it. But come on, cuz. That means she don't even like you. Listen, you using God to shame a woman to be with you. You's a buster. I ain't gonna tell you a wicked woman. You don't want to share no man. Look at baby, you can barbecue a meal. You don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. I would rather have a woman who want to do it than to try to twist a woman's arm to do it. But I say that overly pushing to convince people to do it is because you don't believe it yourself. You're trying to convince yourself. Because if that was you was on, you wouldn't be running up on everybody telling them it's right. You would just do it and be like, hey, man, that's what the book say, cuz. I'm not finna go back and forth with you. I don't care if you disagree. I got 5 wives and I might get another. But that's not what they do, though. So that means they know they're wrong. Because if you were solidified in your heart, you wouldn't have to do that. You wouldn't have to do that. And I don't care what none of these niggas think. See, a bunch of, I almost said something. A bunch of these whole niggas be thinking, oh, you doing that to pander to the women. Nah, because you just a sucker. Y'all not used to nobody telling you a sucker. That's not a player move. You understand? We believe wholeheartedly in the ism, and that's not what you do with that, sir. You know what I'm saying? We don't force women to get down. They get down on their own. We don't do that. That's not how that works. So that means that's telling me you ain't no pimp, you ain't no player, you ain't no Mac, you just a horn dog nigga who trying to. That's why they keep swapping out women. That's why they don't stay. Because then they get when they realize this nigga's a hoe. Because I just seen a nigga say, man, 100 racks, man. If you can prove polygyny is wrong, that's how far you want to go with it. You want to bet 100 racks. You ain't confident in your position. Because why would you even want to get to the point that you want to bet money? And matter of fact, why is this even a conversation? Why is this all you niggas want to talk about? You got somebody whole heart broke down, nigga going through it, and you want to talk about what good is how many wives gonna do for me, cuz my mama just died. I got low self-esteem. I was abused as a child, but thanks for telling me I can get 3 wives, cuz that really helped me out. That's man, come on, man, that's crazy. Come on, Zero.
A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior.
Good behavior.
Given to hospitality and apt to teach.
And apt means skill. Can't be trash.
Not given to wine.
Can't be no drunk.
No striker.
Can't put your hands on people.
Not greedy of filthy lucre.
Can't be greedy for dishonest gain.
But patient, not a brawler.
Can't be around here with contentious.
One that rule well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity.
How we gonna listen to you and your children don't listen to you? Now, see, we ain't talking about toddlers that's just indignant because they don't listen to nobody. But you got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old children under your roof, and they don't listen to you. But you a teacher of God, but your children don't listen to you. See, I told her my children grow up don't listen to me. They gonna get out my house. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna rule my house. I'm gonna rule you right out the door. Because you're not gonna stay here and do what you want to do. You get your own place, you can do what you want. I'm not here to tell you can't live your life how you want to live it. That's your business. But when you under this roof right here, you're going to do what I tell you to do. You know what I'm saying? And what I tell you to do is, this is the standard and principles that we live by. If you don't want to live by them standards and principles, that's fine. But you can't live here. And see, some people say that's harsh, but would you let your son live in your house and people selling crack and bringing crack and pistols in your house? You wouldn't, because you don't live by that. You tell him, son, you got to get out. You wouldn't let him stay there. Would you let your son bring multiple women in the house and knock him down? He's 16 years old. You'll let him stay in your house? You enabling bad behavior. Because the minute you turn your head and say, well, that's my baby, you just told him it's fine. It's not fine, and you can't live here and do it. If you can pull your penis out, son, you can go pay some rent somewhere. You're grown. If you can sell drugs and tote pistols, you're grown. And if you don't want to abide by what I live by, that means you're grown. That don't mean I'm going to kick you out on the street with nothing. We'll try to, you know what I'm saying, try to make that fall as comfortable for you as possible. I ain't just going to throw you out like Jazz and be like, figure it out. And we don't do you like that. But you can't stay here, though. Yeah, you got to, I ain't going to send you out in there. I ain't going to do you dirty now. You still my child, but you can't stay here, though. We're gonna make sure we're going to help you out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your grandma let you stay around there. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll tell you like this here. Let's, at least with other stuff, not as extreme as crime. You know what I'm saying? We're going to help you find you a job. We help you solidify a place, and you on your own. You got to pay that rent once we get you in there. We'll try to get you at least 1 month paid up, and then you got to figure it out, son, but you can't stay here. And that's the problem with a lot of black folks. You'll let your children stay in your house and do whatever, and then complain to the family about what they're doing. You allowing it, so why wouldn't they do it? And Yahuah don't operate like that. But we think that, but you know what's crazy? But you ready to kick them out when they turn 18 and they ain't doing nothing wrong. That nigga ain't wrong. He's a child. He just graduated from high school, and you be like, you ready to move out? And he's like, no. Not. You know what I'm saying? I just walked across the stage. Already packed. Because we feel like our children need to learn it the hard way because you felt like you learned it the hard way. Well, you know how that was for you. Why would you send them through that if they don't have to? That's crazy. But nevertheless, man, I don't want to go on a tangent about that. What's left of that? 1 Timothy 3.
Mm-hmm. You want me to keep going? I think I stop at verse 7.
Go to Titus 1 and 5, man, and read it where he said from in Titus. I say, man, this word ain't that difficult, man. And people make it difficult.
It's verse 7.
Go ahead, Titus 1 and 7.
He say, for a bishop must be blameless as a steward of Alahym, not self-willed, not soon angry.
See, you can't be a bishop and you want to do what you want to do. Can't do that. Not in that job. Go ahead.
He say, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre, but a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober.
Can't be a lover of wicked niggas.
Just, kadash, temperate.
Got to be righteous. Got to have self-control.
Holding fast the faithful word as he have been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the
We
gainsayers.
can be able to warn and convince people who's speaking against it. But you got to be skilled in the word. And I'm going to be honest with you. Most people who teach this word that I've heard are trash. Terrible. And I'm not saying that because I'm sitting here preaching. I'm saying that as a man who enjoys listening to the word. I sit and listen to people teach the word all the time. The niggas suck. They no good. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. That's just my honest assessment. You know what I'm saying? Most of them aren't that good. I know some dudes who hold their own. Trav hold his own. You know, man, Fillmore hold his own. The rest of these dudes, them niggas trash. Yeah, Zadok hold his own. Zadok do his thing. It ain't a lot of dudes I done heard. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't just saying Zadok and Trav because they're my people. They do their thing. Outside of that, I don't know too many dudes, brother. Most of them niggas suck. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not really talking about anything that's going to be a benefit to the individual. You know what I'm saying? It's only so far. Now, you know, like when we go through Chronicles and Kings, it's only so far you can go with history if you're not going to use history from a cultural context point of view to understand behavior and conduct of the people you're reading about. There's only so much that's going to do for you. And that's just for you to understand, to get some type of insight of why these people behaved and moved the way that they did so that you don't move that way. Outside of that, you're going to feel like you back in high school. I don't think many of y'all enjoyed American and world history. Most of you didn't take religious study classes when you went to college. You avoided them like the plague because you don't care. But then when you sit back and you look at his forth as your inward man, it ain't going to do nothing for you. It's only so much you can hear you an Israelite. There's only so much you can hear keep the law, statutes, and commandments. There's only so much you can hear that before you start tuning that out. And then you just do stuff and you're just going through the motions. And as we mentioned the other day, this is why people fall off. Mainly when life happens. When he say when that persecution and tribulation arise because of the word, because you ain't got no root in you, you're going to fall off. Because knowing you an Israelite is not the root. Like we were just talking to somebody about that, man. They scream the same thing, man. You got to tell them you an Israelite. That's not what he told you to draw nobody with. That ain't drawing nobody. But that's what we told. You know what I'm saying? So that's why and what do you see most, at least online, where people complaining about this community is trash, the people do this? Well, shoot, look at the dope they getting sold. What you expect they gonna be? You thought you was gonna get godliness from that? I hate it for them. You know, that's why every time we pray, you ask him to send laborers into his harvest. You know what I'm saying? That's why you ask for him to do that. Because if you know it's trash dope out here, then you would want him to send as many laborers as possible who come in with something decent so that people can get served. Because there's people out here who want to get served. And they tired of hearing that junk. You know what I'm saying? But they feel like, hey, I guess I got to buy it because that's all that's selling. But over there, when you used to smoke reefer, boy, when you hated like the weed, this all the weed you got, you don't know nobody else. You got to go around there. That's how people felt with Walmart till better quality stores came up. You had to go to Walmart because that's the only thing that was around there. When you go to areas in the city that's like a food desert, you think them people want to go to the corner store? I want apples and bananas too. I don't want to eat no damn annihilators every day. But that's by design, because if it ain't nothing but trash around here, then guess what? Your health gonna decline. So if it ain't nothing but trash word on the block, your soul gonna decline. It ain't by accident. Ain't none of this stuff by accident, because trash dope always gonna be to the front. That's why all the cookies and cakes is right there in your eyesight when you walk in the store. The stuff that's good for you, they put that in the back. Way in the back. They hope you don't want to walk back there. That's good. Yeah, you know, ate too many Debbie cakes. I'm tired. I can't walk back there. You know what I'm saying? The people know what they're doing. It's all marketing. You know what I'm saying? The trash stuff always going to be in the front. Come on, Zico. Job 33, 24. I got a little bit more time. And I don't say that to be disparaging to nobody who preaches the word. That's their business. That's why we don't mention no names. We could call names. What that's going to do? You know what I'm saying? Just tell you like 3 Stacks say, man, the food they serving ain't tasting right. Even when we bless it, we can't digest it. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You just got to recognize it and let that be what it be. Come on with it.
Then he is gracious unto him and saith, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom.
Now we concluded with that last night about him finding a ransom. That's kofar. That's the price of a life. So he said the graciousness of Yahuah is set up in the fact that he said, I'm going to stop you from going in the grave because I found a price for our life. We don't like to talk about that because, listen, everybody think the curse of the law is Deuteronomy 28, but we know better than that. Curse of the law is Genesis 3 and 22. Before there was a Deuteronomy 28, he said, dust you are and dust you shall return. Thorns and thistles shall I give to you, and by the sweat of your brow, you're going to live your life till you dead. Before you had Mount Sinai, before you had anything in that, you had that. And that's also the biggest issue, at least with Bruce. Hell, Christians too. Nobody wants to talk about that's got to be reversed what happened to Adam. That's got to be reversed. So when he's talking about delivering, he ain't talking about you going into captivity when he say, I'm going to deliver him from going into the pit. He talking about, I'm going to deliver you from death, and I'm going to do that with the price of a life. See, dudes don't want to talk about, Yahuah don't take human sacrifice because they don't want to talk about no kofar. Somebody's life got to pay a life for a life. That's literally what your law say. A life for a life. They don't talk about that because they don't understand how that works. You can't redeem man with something contrary to him. So man brought death, man got to bring life. His kinsman redeemer has to redeem him. That's what your law say. But when individuals don't know that, that's where you get the disputes. Because you got to have a God. You have to have a kinsman redeemer. The only person who could redeem the first Adam is going to have to be the second Adam. That's why he had to follow the same pattern as the first one. This is the only way death can be taken off of us. Or Hosea 13 and 14 is a lie. You know what I'm talking about? But come on, man. Let's hit what? Psalms 105? I got to hit one song before we get out of here. What you say? You got to make some bread. Man, you mean to tell me you ain't got enough dough to bake biscuits for the projects, nigga? They ain't know that line. You knew that was it. Damn. You knew that, Lil Johnny? Nigga, you ain't from Harlem, nigga. Get this nigga out of here. Yeah, man, you what? Man, listen. Now, granted, it popped up on YouTube the other day, but I didn't even see that. When that movie came out, we used to ride around selling dope with the DVD player watching that over and over and over again. And not because we were selling drugs, because we knew who they were. We knew who AZ was, we knew who Rich Porter was, and we knew who Alpo was. No. I said we had a DVD player, handheld. We on the block with it. Yeah, I mean, this was 2002.
No, well, portable DVD.
Yeah, man. Man, listen, me and my homeboy used to watch Paid in Full and what that is, Blue Ave, whatever that movie is, Blue Hill, every day. No, we didn't watch Bella every day. And there was another movie we watched all the time with Denzel Washington and Sanaa Lathan, man. He had a Hawaiian shirt on. Yeah. We used to watch that a lot. I'm just telling you, man, my homeboy liked that movie, man. So we watched it all the time. It wasn't no bad film. You know what I'm saying? No. If we knew people who did it, but I ain't buy no bootlegs, I need to look at a quality film. You talking about the era of bootlegs. Like you said, somebody walking up, hey, get my popcorn. I don't hear all that. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear all that, man. Hold on, I think I got you in the wrong spot. You know what I mean? Yeah, them was some times, man. You don't even realize how long ago that was, man. That was literally 24 years ago, man. My Lord. Hold on. I changed my mind. I told him the wrong place. No, I didn't Psalms 105. Psalms 111. Psalms 111 and 1.
Psalms 111 and 1.
Yeah, 1. We can read the whole thing, ain't but 10 verses. She said they need to bake some bread. Remember, that's what Kermit the Frog said to Ace before he started her. He said, man, you see this right here? Made enough dough to bake biscuits for the projects, man. He said, you was not going to get them yams dressing like that. Psalms 111 and 1, man.
Praise you, Yahuah. I'll praise Yahuah with my whole heart in the assembly of the upright and in the congregation.
The works
of Yahuah are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein.
His work is what?
Honorable and esteemed, and his righteousness endure forever.
Listen, he said, give me the esteem that I had with you before the world was. He said his work. He said, Abba, I finished the work you've given me to do. So his work was honorable and esteemed, and the righteousness that endures forever is him giving you the Ruach HaKodesh upon his resurrection. Read them John 16:7 on general principle. See, people want to hear that. See, I'm going to tell y'all already know this. You know, it'd be people say, y'all stretching that. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, I told you, I don't stretch no dose. We don't believe in that, man. I ain't going to call no names who taught us not to do that. But we don't believe in that. We wasn't taught to stretch nothing. We were taught to give it to you straight drop. Same way we got it, that's how we getting it to you. Ain't put no additives or preservatives on that. People always want to stress stuff, say you stretching something because they don't believe it. Oh, that's not talking about Jesus. Where his name at your mama house. That's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? I hate when people say that. Show me his name in there. It's at your mama house. You know what I'm saying? Just like the rest of the meat. Then they get mad then. You know what I'm saying? When they cut you out. I wouldn't recommend you say that. Yeah. Oh, that's just the Holy Ghost. Set apart spirit. That's what that is. You read Holy Spirit or Holy Ghost? The proper way to say that, ghost in Hebrew is going to be ruach. It means wind. That's all ghost mean or spirit mean. It mean wind, breath. You know what I'm saying? And then when you put holy in front of it, which is going to be Kadash in Hebrew, set apart. So it's the set apart breath. So his breath or his spirit is set apart from everybody else. That's why his breath gives you life. Because your breath can't give nobody life because you don't have no breath. But the breath that's in your lungs is his. That's why he say when you die, you take back the ruach who gave it. He take his breath back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why you alive. You're alive by the breath that he put. The breath he put in Adam's lungs is able to be passed down to every man. And when that breath is gone, you have no life. So when you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, if you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh, then you don't have life. So when you don't believe, that's why he said, he that have the Son have life. Because if you have the Son, you have the Spirit. But if you don't have the Son, you don't have the Spirit. So therefore, you don't have life. And it's a lot of people don't have life. And that goes back to the point we were talking about the fruit of the wise the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life. Because when there's no way you can have the Spirit and not produce that. Because it tells you in Jeremiah 17 that blessed is the man that trusts in Yahuah, whose hope Yahuah is. He never ceases from yielding fruit. That means you will never stop producing what Galatians say is the fruits of the Spirit. If an individual does not produce that, that means they don't have it. Because people will tell you how you know if somebody got the Spirit, because they're looking for doctrine and all. Man, all you have to do is sit back and pay attention to the behavior. He tell you exactly what to look for, because he told you by their fruits, you're going to know them. So then when you see what he say those fruits are, if those fruits are not exhibited consistently, that nigga lying. And that's it. It ain't nothing to talk about. It's all type of people say they got it. Anybody can say that. You know, you can make your mouth fry fish. That don't mean you can. You got dudes out here say they women. That don't mean they won. You got women out here who say they men. Hell, you got little white children say they a cat. That don't mean you are one. So just because you say you had a spirit don't mean you have it. Because there are measurables, tangibles that you have been instructed to observe. Let me read one to you real fast. Stay where you at, Steve. I'm going to give you an example. If an individual is chosen, this should be the advent of their conduct. I'm going to go over here to this epistle in Colossians, right? And I'm in Colossians chapter 3, right? And I'm going to read you verse 12. And he say, put on therefore as the elect, meaning elect is chosen, which would be the Hebrew word bakar, which means he has chosen you. Of Alahym, Kadash and beloved, or set apart and loved, bowels of mercy. If it ain't no mercy there, he ain't chosen. Now that's going back to what we were talking about with David. This is how we see David was chosen, because of the mercy that he showed. Kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, and long suffering. Again, you see long suffering to come up a lot, because this is an attribute of Yahuah's character, of being long suffering, which is being patient and slow to anger and slow to wrath. And in James, he tell you that the wrath of man work not the righteousness of Alahym, and anger rests in the bosom of fools. So if you got an individual who's swift to anger, God ain't in them. See, we're not talking about people who not professing to be of God and God being them. We're not talking about them. We talking about people who say, I got the Holy Spirit. I'm a son of God. I'm a daughter of God. I'm this, I'm that. Well, then they fly off the handle and you cussing everybody out. Okay, God ain't in you, nigga, you lying. I ain't got to say nothing. I know you lying. Then the next thing he say, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. And if any man have a quarrel against any, even as a Mashiach forgave you, so do also. And above all these things, put on love, which is the bond of perfection. If they don't exhibit them characteristics, nigga lying. You know what I'm saying? Straight like that. And then I'll read the fruits of the Spirit just on general principle. We done reference them about 17 times. I'll read them anyway. You know what I'm saying? This is Galatians 5:22. But the fruit of the Ruach is love. If you don't have the love of Alahym and you don't love your neighbor as yourself, you lying. Joy. The joy of Yahuah is your strength. So if you don't have that, you lying. Peace. Where he keep you in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. So trusting Yahuah is everlasting strength. So and again, he said there's no peace for the who, said it. So if this nigga can't sleep at night, he wicked as hell. You have a hard time going to bed and you ain't got insomnia? Because some people got insomnia. And you know what I'm saying? And some of that come from because you don't have regular sleep patterns. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have, and if it ain't because of that, all jokes aside, I ain't even being funny, you might have anxiety. Now, when you're dealing with anxiety, he tell you, if you trust in Yahuah, you'll be anxious for nothing. And then, of course, Philippians 4 tell you the things to think upon if you're dealing with anxiety. Now, I'm not joking by being funny about because you can't go to sleep, you wicked because you got anxiety. Having anxiety don't mean you wicked. Having anxiety means your spirit needs to be comforted. So there's certain things that you need to bring to remembrance of your maker so that your spirit can be comforted. Because having anxiety don't make you wicked and it don't make you faithless either. It just makes you a human being who hasn't conquered that part of the carnal nature yet. That's what that means. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have patience with yourself to walk through that, because that's a process to learn that as your faith get built up. Now, if you've been in the word 25 years and you got anxiety, what you got going on? You know what I'm saying? But that's another conversation for another day. What's the next one, man? Long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, self-control. Against such there is no law. If you don't exhibit that, you lie, because again, it's fruit. In Hebrew, the word fruit is parade. That means this is the produce. So if the zarah or the seed is the word, then these are the things that is the parade of that seed. This is showing proof that that seed was implanted in your heart. That's why I say if the seed fall in the ground and die, it abide alone. But if it die, it bring forth much fruit. That's why he said he walked past that fig tree and had no fruit on it. He said, dug it. Because it ain't no profit to me. So you don't want him to come up on you and you like, dang, you ain't got no long suffering on you. Ain't no joy, ain't no nothing. Man, kill this nigga. That's what's gonna happen to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
What about the gift of the spirit?
That's different. That's a different conversation. You can have the spirit and have no gifts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can have the fruit, but that don't mean you can have a gift. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, faith in and of itself, according to 1 Corinthians 12, is a gift. But you could also have wisdom, and that's a gift. See, now, and we talked about that before, but y'all can look at that. Y'all willing, we can talk about it tomorrow. But in 1 Corinthians 12, he enumerate what those gifts are. And most of the time, especially in church anyway, because I don't think a lot of Israelites talk about it too tough. People only want to talk about the main gift that you can see that actually, like, see, I'm a preacher, or I can work miracles, versus the gifts that actually facilitate service to each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, having knowledge of God is just having knowledge of God. They ain't even got to teach no word. Yeah, you ain't got to teach no word to have knowledge. Because that's just the daf Yahuah. You can be able to give knowledge of who he is. You ain't got to teach no word. You know what I'm saying? When you look at wisdom, that's kokma, that's skill in war. So that means you have the gift. You got the gift to be able to tell people, hey, when you face this situation, this is how you handle it in a godly fashion.
Because in the Sunday church, the gift of the spirit when they speaking in diverse tongues. So is it what? That's why I
look at it briefly, right? Yeah. See, people only want to talk about the tongues part because they want attention to themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I think Paul said something about I rather like speak the way everybody will understand.
Yeah. Now, see, Emma, this is the beginning part of where it started in verse 4, the first Corinthians 12. He said you have different gifts, you have the same spirit, you have different administrations, but the same Lord, and there are diversity of operations, but it's the same God that's working in everybody. So he say he give one person a word of wisdom, another a word of knowledge, and to another faith, and to another gifts of healing, and then miracles and prophecy, and being able to discern spirits, and tongues, and interpretation of tongues. But then when you come down and you work down about verse 27, he said, now are you the body of a Mashiach and members in particular? Alahym have set some in the assembly, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers. After that, miracles, gifts, healings, helps, government, diversity of tongues. Now you notice that tongues at the end of the list. That's not as important as individuals like it make it out to be. Why? Because tongues is a sign, and signs are for unbelievers. So for people who don't believe, yeah, that's important. But if you're in a room full of believers, speaking in tongues is irrelevant. The first three things that he mentioned, the apostles, prophets, and teachers, are much more important. Now listen to what he says after that. Are all apostles, or all prophets, or all teachers, are all workers of miracles, have all gifts of healings, do all speak with tongues, do all interpret, meaning everybody ain't going to do the same thing. Right. So, and of course that ties into Psalms when he say he take captivity captive and ascended on high to receive gifts from men, even the rebellious also. What, 66 and 18? Make sure that's what that is. Peace, brother. And he say, so even that Yahuah Alahym might dwell among them. So that psalm is referring to him ascending into heaven because he's taken sin captive. We're going to read that in a minute because he got John 16 and 7 on that. And then he received gifts from men, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. He say, even for sinners also. So that God might be in you. Because that's remember we talked about that the other day, whatever day that was, we were reading Leviticus 26. He said that my tabernacle might be, his desire has been to dwell in man the entire time. That's always been his desire. But see, you have to do, just like, now we ain't look at it, but we could do it, just like we talked about it in 2 Kings, when we was looking at King Hezekiah cleansing out the temple. See, that's a whole thing in and of itself, because that's really referring to when he say, don't you know you the temple of Alahym, whoever defiled that temple, nigga thinking, oh, you defile your temple, you smoke cigarettes. Man, they ain't talking about that, boy. You defile your temple. You, like, people see gluttony in the Old Testament and think it's talking about overeating. It ain't, that word don't even mean that. You know what I'm saying? That word means something totally different. You know what I'm saying? But people ain't gonna tell you that because they usually don't know. 68 and 18. Is 68 and 18?
Yeah.
Read it for them.
So you have ascended on high, you have led captivity captive, you have received gifts for men, yea, for the rebellious also, that Yahuah Alahym might dwell among them.
Keep going.
Baruch be Yahuah, who daily load us with benefits, even the Alahym of our salvation.
Tell him what benefits mean, because this really speaks to his grace and mercy in this passage. Tell him what, because I want you to get to he daily load us with salvation, because you should remember that means escape from death.
Benefits ain't even there. They just added that in there.
What's on? Well, whatever word before. Well, daily load.
Yeah, load is a mas, to load, to carry a load, to lay a load upon.
So he carried a load. Remember when he told you in Isaiah 46, I carry your burdens? That's why Yahushua had that state, because he carried your burdens. See how that takes us back to Issachar is the strong ass, couching down between two burdens, and he saw rest was good, and he bowed his shoulder to bear, because he carried your sins. And he ain't have to carry them. Just like Adam carried Eve, he ain't have to carry them. He could have laid him down and said, no, I want another wife. People don't consider that he could have easily said, oh, you ate from them? Oh, I'm telling on you, I get me another wife. He didn't do that, though. And you know why he didn't do that? Because that's not the pattern. Because Yahuah could have said, I'm going to get me another people. Remember, he said, I've been sought after by people who is not called by my name, even though I spread my hands daily to a rebellious and gainsaying people. Now, imagine you got a woman you love so much, but she's a dirty foot, slew foot whore. And you got this woman over here chasing you down, want to be with you. And you like, nah, I'm going to figure out a way to bring her back to me. You know what I'm saying? Praise you, indeed. Because that's what he did. Because that's what it said in 2 Samuel. Stanley Noah, he devised his means to bring his banished back to him. People think that law in Deuteronomy about divorce about you is really so he ain't have to kill us. You know what I'm saying? When he say, hey, man, put her away. Put you away so I ain't got to kill you. Because outside of that, because he said if you find some man of uncleanliness in you, that's Irvah. He found uncleanliness in us when they were worshiping that golden calf. He could have killed them and got a new wife. Didn't do it. Yeah, see, people don't look at it. Listen, right? That's why I always say this here. I got you, Joseph. A lot of people, your people didn't love you. See, people who've been loved by somebody, it don't got to necessarily be your parents. If someone has loved you somewhere in your life, you can recognize the love of God in the book when you see it. And not the places that's just plain, but it's obvious. You can see that through the behavior because someone showed you that in your lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Average person who in this word ain't nobody, and I'm not saying that to be disparaging. I'm just saying that that's a harsh reality. It's a lot of people who went through life unloved. And when you go through life unloved, it is difficult for you to see love, accept love, and give it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell you so many dudes want to be extra tough in this word because that's overcompensation. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because when you have somebody in your life that actually loved you, it's transformational to you, and you never forget it. Listen, I just seen somebody I grew up with, right? She said the same thing about another girl I grew up with, you know what I'm saying, grandma, that she said about my mama when my mama passed. Because her mama was mean to her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, I knew this. You know what I'm saying? And she say that my homegirl grandma, she said, I'll never forget the hug she gave me. She say she gave out the best hugs. My mama was being mean to me, and she came and hugged me in the bathroom, and I'll never forget it. And when I ain't even know, because she didn't even tell me this, because we both went to FSCJ together, but we also went to Inglewood together. And she was like, yeah, one day your mama seen me, came and hugged me, woo, woo, so I never forgot it. And I know that she was expressing that because she didn't get that type of maternal love from her mom.
That was from his grandmother. Mm-hmm. She couldn't speak, or she was mute. She couldn't hear, she couldn't speak. Mm-hmm. But that was the first person that I felt real love from. And she couldn't talk, she couldn't, but when she was hugging me, I just felt love. And my mom was mean to me, so that was a transformation of love. It changed where I saw how you supposed to love. You know,
absolutely.
She couldn't even speak it. She couldn't speak. She couldn't hear.
You know what I'm saying?
But that hug, it was just, it's the way she was. Her eyes would light up when I would walk in the room.
Right.
Like she was happy to see me. She loved me.
Man, let me tell you something, man. I've always told you that, man. It don't cost you no effort to love somebody. It actually take more effort not to show love, because you have to willfully make a decision to say, I'm not gonna do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You experience it, you able to receive it.
And you can be able to recognize it in this book.
Yes.
And you won't look at it as weak like we started with.
Yes.
These dudes look at love as being weak because nobody loved them. So that's their defense mechanism against their heart, because they've been damaged, they've been hurt. So love got to be weak, because they wouldn't know what to do if they actually experienced it. That's why a lot of them ain't experienced the love of God, and that's why they still in the state that they in right now. Now, Joseph, the definition, the Hebrew word for glutton is zalal. That's zayin, lamad, and lamad is to be worthless, to be vile, to be insignificant, to be light, to be worthless, to be insignificant, to make light of, to squander, to be lavish with, to shake, tremble, and quake, i.e. to quake, to be loose morally, worthless, or prodigal. And then they have riotous eater in there. So then if you take riotous eater, then that's going to be in a glutton as somebody who participate in abominable idolatries and feast to idol gods, versus somebody who just eat too much. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not overeating. It's really just dealing with, the main definition is someone who is vile and insignificant and worthless.
Wow.
But when you get on down into the secondary aspect of it, is you're a riotous eater, which means you eat at the table of idols and food sacrificed to idols.
Wow.
He said, now, son, Brother Marvin just said it's the key component why it's hard for somebody to get love also, and that's overcoming whatever resentment you have from the people who should have showed you love that didn't. You know what I'm saying? But see, of course, all y'all know who've been here for a while. We talk about these things because people don't like to talk about these things because most people ain't never dealt with those issues. So that's why they don't like to talk about them if they exist. But these are the things that you have to get out the way to allow the word to get through.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to cycle through those things. You know what I'm saying? Like we mentioned these things so you could go home and sort them out yourself.
Right.
Now, if you want to discuss them, of course, you can call me. We can discuss it. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like, hey, I'm a faster, whatever method you deem that you need to take, you know what I'm saying, to get there, then shoot, we're going to support you through whatever you need to do to get where you want to be at. But the first thing first is it has to, see, everybody just think, when you find out you're an Israelite, I tell you these commandments, it's going to heal the fact that your mama was cold. It's going to heal the fact that your daddy was absent. You know what I'm saying? Or your mama cussed you out, or you got beat. You know what I'm saying? God forbid you were physically and or sexually assaulted. Thou shalt not eat pork ain't finna do nothing for that. You know what I'm saying? Or any other traumatic experience you may have had in life. So you have to actually have the tools to be able to work through that so the word can come in and do its job. Which means you would need to actually be shown who Yahuah is.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So that he can do that work, because the commandments can't do that. And that doesn't mean the commandments are bad, and it doesn't mean that they're not to be taught or to be observed, but they can't bring forth healing because that's not their job. That's not their job. But see, niggas don't want to heal nobody because they not healed. And I hate to use such common terminology in these days and times, but yeah, a lot of dudes, man, Yahuah ain't gave them no Rapha, they not healed. They ain't got no Aruka, them boys destroyed. So in that way, they go about and destroy other people with the word at that.
The word, where the word opens up with me and brought a healing in me was about how the Lord loves me so much, and through my imperfections, then I was able to forgive and love my parents, and they didn't even have to apologize.
Right.
His love, the way I hear through the word about his love, the way he loved me so much, and the way he forgave me, and all of the wickedness that I did, the imperfection, it just caused me to just give that same gift outward.
Right. Now I tell everybody this here. Go ahead.
I was saying to her, I had that same revelation with my parents.
Yeah.
And I had issues. Not really bad, but you had worse.
Yeah, I get what you're
But
saying.
it was enough for me to have issues with them.
Right.
As I got older and I saw other people, and I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. I used to do
Right.
You need a big trash bag because I got some in the
You let you
van.
see yourself, and he still loves you.
Right,
And
right,
God,
and that's what they call my mother and apologize to her. I apologize to her.
yeah.
Now I tell everybody this here, right?
Um,
Your parents only knew what they knew.
that's right.
Then on top of that, I wanted to I got because I got to add more on to that. You know, they human too. Now, one thing I say, my mama and my auntie, that's what they taught us, that they were human beings too.
Yeah.
So that means that they had certain life experiences that, because they used to discuss the fact how my granddaddy used to get drunk and beat their mom. You know what I'm saying? And what that did to them at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? With even my mama saying, hey, yeah, we plotted on killing this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mention this because for them, they wanted to humanize themselves in our eyesight. See, a lot of times you don't look at your parents as humans. So you look at them as, why you ain't know this and why you ain't do this, and you forget that, hey, man, they human beings too. Because shoot, my mama told us stuff that happened to my granddaddy that probably messed him up.
Right, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you sit back and look at your people only knew what they knew, then you don't may not even know the things that they were mentally trying to overcome themselves.
That's right. That's right.
Then you can have a little bit more compassion. For them. Now, if they was just an old, rotten, dirty, dog, nasty nigga, you just got to let that be what it is. You just got to let that be what it is. It's like the young lady I was referencing, like, she don't fool with her mom. Because when we were young, she used to call her mama by her first name. That junk used to throw me. I was like, nigga. First time I heard her say that, I'm like, nigga, you wildin'. But as over time, you know what I'm saying? When we got like this here, I seen why. I'm like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I understand. You know what I'm saying? Your mama on a different type of time. You know what I'm saying? And that junk ruined people.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So y'all already know we discuss things of this nature because one, this is not an organization that will not allow space for you to be a human being. To be able to cycle through things that human beings cycle through. As the text say, hey, just give strength to the weak. That's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. We all human beings. You know what I'm saying? But then you sort through those things that make you stronger in the word so that you can see the power of Alahym manifest. It ain't going to be able to see it if we just talking about this your history. Meanwhile, you going through it. Because you still ain't dealt with the fact you was with a dude who beat you for 5 years. Or you was your parents whooped on you. Or your mama told you was ugly and stupid and retarded every day of your life. You know what I'm saying? Now you got a poor self-view of yourself. Then you start fooling with people as an adult because of your poor self-view. Now you messing with people who reinforce this poor self-view because you're not going to pick people who care about you. Right. You know what I'm saying? But John 16 is 7, because we got to get off here. 9:30. But y'all willing, we back. I got it tomorrow. I have a little bit more time. Read it for us, Sabo.
Nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is expedient for you that I go away.
Right.
For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you.
Listen.
And when he is come, he'll reprove the world of sin.
Of sin.
And of righteousness.
Why?
And of judgment.
Why?
Of sin, because they believe not on me.
What else?
Of righteousness, because I go to my Abba, and
you
see me no more. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged.
You see how his works are honorable and glorious, and his righteousness endure forever. Come on back to Psalms 111, because we got to finish that before we get off here. This is verse 4 of Psalms 111. Psalms 111 and 4. He said, I went through things as a child that I shouldn't have to go through, but I still love my mom. Hey, and that's why, and that's another reason, because I know people had that experience. That's another reason for y'all who didn't have children, like tell you, hey, boy, my mama loved me, boy. So that means, hey, man, love your children. That's right. So that they can grow up and be like, hey, boy, my daddy loved me. My mama loved me. And that they don't have to shy away to make themselves feel like, well, because this person mama ain't love them, I got to act like my mama ain't love me. No, because I hate that happened for you. But that's not my story. Because listen, man, I'm being dead serious, man. One, it's two things that you would, you know what I'm saying? It speaks to your ability as a parent, man. One, that if your children can espouse while you still breathing where you can hear about the love you gave them, and then when you can't hear it, that everybody can know that your child is talking about, boy, I'll never forget them because they love me from the day I was born to the day they left here. Because love builds confidence, and confidence builds strong men. You know what I'm saying? And when love is absence, you're going to have weakness, and that's why you have so many weak men, because ain't nobody love them. Come on. He ain't strong on that basketball court, though. That boy cool. That boy airball layups, boy. Not only a layup, that boy airballed a finger roll. That boy been there for the George Gervais. Shoot, I was there. I seen it too. Oh, we ain't never let him forget that one. Only reason being we don't let him forget that one because he was selling out decent by how he was gonna ball, and then he went right out there and did it. See, if he would have missed the layup, it'd have been nothing. It's the fact that you airballed it this close to the rim. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is that was 10 years ago. He still get roasted for it. Go ahead.
So he have made his wonderful works to be remembered.
He made his what?
Wonderful works to be remembered.
Remember, he said, and the comforter which I send in my name shall bring to remembrance all the things that I said unto you. Go ahead.
Yahuah is gracious and full of compassion.
He's what?
Gracious and full of compassion.
See, the actual presence of the Ruach HaKodesh is actual evidence of his graciousness and compassion. Read them compassion one more time, man. Tell them what the calm means one more time.
Well, this one is raccoon.
Raccoon, what that one is?
Compassionate, always of Alahym, with one possible exception. Full of compassion, merciful.
Merciful. The presence of his spirit is evidence of his mercy. Because remember, he said, I'll make a new covenant with you, not like the covenant I made with your fathers when I brought them out of the wilderness and brought them out of Egypt, which covenant they break. He said, I'll put my laws in their heart and in their inward parts, and their sins and their iniquities I what? Remember no more. That's mercy. So when he telling you about the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit is evidence of his mercy when you have it. That mercy seat. Every time it's going to take you to, I got the Kippareth on deck. We ain't even got close to that yet. That mercy seat, that man said you can come to the mercy seat for help in the time of need. That's what you were taught in the epistle to the Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the mercy seat is representative of his throne. And if you recall, what the mercy seat on top of? The law. So mercy supersedes the law. But people don't want to hear that because his throne is above the law. That means Yahuah above the law. That means his mercy reach above heaven. The law don't do that though. Oh, they don't want to hear that. We're going to offend somebody. Come on, man. Because they're going to be like, them niggas don't keep the law, just like your mammy don't.
So he have given meat unto them that fear him.
Oh, he did what?
Given meat unto them that fear
he said,
him.
my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed.
For he will ever be mindful of his covenant.
And he said, take, eat, this is my body.
Tell
him what mindful means. You know, that's what old black people in the South like to say. You need to be mindful.
This is a card to remember, recall. That's called to mind.
He called to mind. So he called to mind the covenant that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So I gave you bread from Shamahim that if a man eat, he'll live forever. And this bread is my flesh. This is what he told you. Come on, man. He works. I'm sorry. He showed
his people the power of his works,
that he may give them
the heritage of the heathen.
The works
of his hand are verity and judgment.
All his commandments
are sure.
So when he tell you his works are verity and judgment, he said they true and it's mishpat. Ain't none of them wrong. They all right. Come on with it, man.
They stand fast forever and ever and are done in truth and uprightness.
And he sent what?
Redemption unto his people.
He sent what?
Redemption unto his people.
Tell him what redemption means, because I ain't even sprinkle. We got to sprinkle a little redemption in here when you're talking about grace and mercy, because redemption is a part of it.
Paduth. That's ransom.
That's a ransom. And he told you that I came to make myself a ransom for many. On general principle, Civic, Hosea 13 and 14. I ain't gonna lie, Hosea 13 and 14, we don't need no excuse for that neither. Run it.
I'll ransom them from the power of the grave.
There it is.
I'll redeem them from death. Death, I will be your plague.
And
grave, I will be your destruction. Repentance shall be hid from my eyes.
Tell them what ransom mean in that verse, man. That redemption means all. That's the kinsman redeemer.
This is pada. To
Same
ransom,
word.
redeem, rescue, to deliver.
I'm gonna rescue you and deliver you from the grave. You know what the sad part is? Israelites don't never talk about this man rescuing you from the grave. They always talk about what you saved from. You got to endure to shut your stoop behind up, nigga.
They just always on the captivity of the European.
They do, but also, and I mentioned that last part because they like to ridicule Christians when Christians say they saved. And they like to go to Matthew 24 when he say he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. But there's other places that talk about being saved because their question is, well, what are you saved from? Sin and death, doofus. You know what I'm saying? You big dummy. And you're supposed to know that, claim to be a teacher. See, you don't say that to regular people. Only people who say they're a teacher. You big dummy. What you think the man died for? To make an end of sins, to finish the transgression, and to make reconciliation for iniquity. So if I made an end of sins, I made it. Well, why you still dying though? I will kick your teeth out your mouth. Is that effective? But that's what he died for, to save you from sin and death. Because based off the fruits that we've been talking about that are as a tree of life. Because where there is no law, there is no transgression. So where there is no sin, there is no death. Remember, he said, blessed is he that endure temptation. For he shall receive a crown of life that the Lord has promised to all those that love him. But don't let nobody say when they tempted a God. The God don't tempt nobody to evil. But every man is tempted and enticed by his own lust. And when lust is conceived, it brings forth sin. And sin, death. And he say, don't err, my beloved brethren. Nobody told you. So if you've been saved from sin, meaning that if you believe on this man and you've been converted, you've been born again, conform to his image, you put off the body of sin and put on the son, because he tell you put on Yahuah HaMashiach to make no provisions for the lust of the flesh. So if you put that off and you put him on and you exhibit in them fruit, you're not going to sin. So if you're not going to sin, then there is no death, which is why he say he's the resurrection and the life. And whosoever believe on him shall never taste death. But they don't believe that though. Job 19:25 said we're going to highway. We almost out of here. He ain't got but 2 more verses to read. 1 more verse to be exact.
Gotta finish that Joel 2:13 too.
Oh yeah. Finish that. He got to finish Joel. We ain't never finished Joel 2:13. The Civic got a history, and days gone by that this would have been lost in the wind. He updated his technology.
It's saying, rend your heart and not your garment, and turn unto Yahuah your Alahym, for he is gracious and merciful.
That's right.
Slow to anger and of great kindness, and repent him of the evil.
Listen, say that again. He is who? What is Yahuah? Listen to what he said he is.
For he is gracious and merciful.
He's gracious and merciful.
Slow to anger.
He's slow to wrath.
Of great kindness.
And
repent him of the evil.
And he'll turn from any evil he said he'll do to you. And that's what Yahushua came and showed you, literally in action. You know what I'm saying? You seen Yahuah work that through men, but then he manifested in the flesh and showed it to you face to face, eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? And that's real deal love, man. Because listen, because people like this here, that wasn't God because you stupid. And you know why you stupid? Because who else gonna love you enough to do that for you? There's nobody else gonna be invested in you in that capacity. So he said, I'm gonna do something. I'm going to send my son, which is in the image of me, which is effectively Alahym. I'm going to clothe him in flesh so he can die for what he created, because that's how much I love you. And Nick can't understand that when people out here get hit by a car for their child or take a bullet for their child. And you can't even fathom in your mind that God would manifest himself in the flesh to die for his. I made you. You in my image and in my likeness. I made you for my esteem. You went sideways. I'm going to show you how much I love you. I give my life up for you. And then I pick it back up to give you life, and you don't deserve none of it, so that you might respect and reverence me. Nigga stupid. Come on back to Psalms 111 and 9.
You want the Job 19?
Oh yeah, Job 19:25 on general principle. My bad. Yeah, general principle. We don't need no excuse to read that.
Say, for I know that my Redeemer lives.
I know my Redeemer lives.
That he shall stand at the
Hold on, tell him what Redeemer means and then start it over again.
That is Gaul to redeem.
That's kinsman Redeemer. Now, kinsman Redeemer, for those who don't know, that's in Leviticus 25. That's an explicit thing. That's when you have sold yourself into bondage, and only a near relative can buy you back from that.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Adam sold himself into bondage, and he was of God, so only God could buy him back from that. See, they don't get that though. No man could buy Adam back because ain't no man his near kinsman. But Yahuah is though. Oh, we're gonna be like this here. They gonna be mad. They already mad. Tell them put on the cape. Say, guess what they can be? Super mad. Super mad. And we're gonna draw an S on that hoe. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead, man.
Say, for I know that my Redeemer live, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see Alahym.
That's right.
Whom I shall see for myself.
And not another.
And my eyes shall behold, and not another, though my reins be consumed within me.
Come on, read that Psalm 111:9, man. See, and then when you understand that the mercy and love you show, it's easier to serve.
Yes, that's right.
Because then you got, what's happening, Rohan? Because then you really have respect for what has been done.
Amen.
Then you know you out of pocket. You should be dead.
Come on.
But he say, you know, I'll spare you.
Yes.
Remember, just like what he said, he told that lady, no man condemn you. She said, no, Lord. He said, go and sin no more. And people just skip over that. He ain't say, you know, if you fall again, he say, don't do that no more. He told the last dude, don't go and sin no more, lest a worse thing come on you. But then we ain't gonna talk about that. Come on. Verse 10, the fear of Yahuah is what?
It's the beginning of wisdom.
Hold on, we didn't read the second part, my bad. Verse 9, that's my fault.
He sent redemption unto his people.
And he have commanded
his covenant forever.
Kadash.
And reverend is his name.
See, when he say reverend, see, people took reverend. Yeah, man, you ain't no reverend, nigga. Because that's your rod. That means his name is to be respected. His name is set apart and to be respected. So understanding that, because if he was to mark sin, who would stand? But there's forgiveness with him that he might be respected. Verse 10, the fear of Yahuah is what?
The beginning of wisdom.
A good understanding.
Have all they that do his commandments.
See, they put commandments there. Commandments ain't there. It's all they that do. And it's asa or do the work. His praise what?
Endure forever.
So hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. I appreciate y'all time this evening. Y'all willing, man. I love y'all. Bless y'all the house Alahym in the name of Yahushua. Y'all willing, we'll be back tomorrow at 8:30. Thursday night, 8:30. Friday night, 8:30. You know what I'm saying? You know, Friday night, regular time. But tomorrow's 8:30. That'll be the beginning of the Sabbath for the end of observance of unleavened bread, which of course is going to run into the weekly Sabbath. So it's back to back. You know what I'm talking about? Amen. Love you too, bro. Hold it down. And then, of course, Saturday afternoon, 2:30, 3 o'clock, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Either way it goes. Just weigh and consider. Thank you. Y'all willing, man. We'll be back at it on tomorrow. Make it do what it do. Them ladies ready to pop me place out. I know niggas got to go to work. Wherever you got to be at. Yahuah brood, man.